is
Yeah.
shockingly rare. Shockingly.
Yeah, I feel like along those lines, I was thinking about like in a lot of the analysis of like how he went from like being like behind 20 points to Andrew Cuomo to beating him in the primary and then just last night in the general. You hear a lot about his charisma. You hear a lot about his social media and the videos. Once again, shout out Donald. Like his political communication was, top notch, and the videos were great. But I think like people are, I think, intentionally overrating that, like how much charisma matters, like more than politics. And I've been thinking about this in light of like when you hear most Democrats be interviewed or have to talk about an issue or policy, it comes out as like Kamala Pete Buttigieg gobbledygook. It's just drivel. It's just like they say absolutely nothing. And what I realized is that like when people talk about what makes a good political communicator or charisma in a political sense, it's just the ability to speak off the cuff and come across as authentic about something you believe in and speak about it in a way that is like, that you're light on your feet, but also it's like not just that you know what you're talking about, but you believe in what you're talking about, and it's easy for you to articulate a point of view because it's your point of view. And that is what most Democrats lack. They don't actually believe in anything. And what they do believe is like set out for them by donors and by political consultants so that like when they're asked a question or has to talk about an issue, like for instance, Israel and Palestine, it's like when a logic problem like explodes a robot's brain because they're so hemmed in by like the things they can't say, the things they have to say. And also the fact that like what they're articulating, they don't actually believe in or care about at all.
Yeah, I think that is, I think maybe the single most notable thing about Mamdani's style of communication and campaign, that he didn't condescend to people.
Yeah.
That Democratic style of communication where, whether it's Kamala just struggling to even tread water in an interview or Ruben Gallego saying, "We're the party that's going to help you buy a big truck." It is fundamentally condescending. Even if your posture is terrified and skittish and hoping, just pleading with your audience to like you are by default assuming that they are stupid because you're outright saying that, well, they can't see how calculating and cynical I am.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't see me 10 seconds before go, look, I'm going to say what these dum-dums like.
Yeah. And it's his policy, it's his politics that got him over the line here. And I remember when I first interviewed him on the show, this was before, as I said on the last one, like this was right before Andrew Cuomo got in the race. And having lived in the city my whole life, having like I said, seen a lot of politics in this country and especially this city, I was just like, I could see the future. And I was so ready for the fact that like Cuomo's going to get in the race and in a totally demoralized population of voters on name recognition alone, he will coast to victory because it's just sort of like, oh, that's the guy whose name I know. Wasn't he governor or something? And then like, I guess I have to vote for him. But what Madani was able to do is like a credit to his campaign is that he ran a real campaign where he was like every minute of the day he wasn't asleep. He was like in the streets of New York. He was like talking to voters. He was through his videos or otherwise. He made his name and his presence felt. And as soon as people saw him and like heard what he stood for and what he wanted to accomplish, they were like, oh wait, I don't have to vote for Andrew Cuomo. And I think like once that certain critical mass was realized, Cuomo had no shot because nobody was really hyped to vote for him. They just did it out of habit or they felt like they had to. And like all he had to do is provide a credible alternative. And that's why I think the primary was so important, is because I think there was a lot of people, especially people of an older generation, like our parents' generation, that looked at him and was like, oh, here's a nice guy. Like, I would love to support him, but is he for real? And the primary proved that he is absolutely for real. And I think what's happening now is like there's a lot of anger at this like irresolvable cognitive dissonance that they see because like they believe in Democrats, they want Democrats to win. That's all they want. They're tired of losing, and then they see the leadership of the party just like pretend this guy doesn't exist after he pulled off the thing that they've been saying every day since Donald Trump got elected that the Democrats need to do desperately, which is like turn out young people and appeal to young men and specifically, and they all just completely ignored him and didn't even endorse him for the most part. And I gotta say, a cognitive dissonance here that's productive is the fact that like people are beginning to realize that if his agenda was just free buses, they would have gotten on board. But it's not that, it's the free Palestine part that's the problem for them. And that is why they did everything in their power to stop him from even after he was the party's nominee.
Thinking about how not existential in the sense that like APAC is going to pack up tomorrow and do the thing that no American Hezbollah does and actually move to Israel. But very symbolically and practically important. In light of that, it's shocking how arrogant Cuomo's campaign was from start to finish.
Astonishing.
Yeah, because it was always clear that the pitch of his campaign